Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review as well as showing you some swatches on my face of the brand new Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. The shade that I got mine in is Fair Medium. This comes in two different shades, two different palettes. One is fair to medium skin tone and the other one is medium to deep skin tone. So this retails at a whopping £60, but should that be a surprise? It's Charlotte Tilbury. Anyone that's shocked at the price shouldn't be, because Charlotte Tilbury is not a cheap brand by any means. However, it is still a very, very popular brand due to the quality of their products. For me, Charlotte Tilbury has always been 50-50. I've also never really found them the kind of brand that caters well enough to medium and deeper skin tones, and in the past I have struggled with particular shades, and I've also struggled quite a lot with the representation that they have on their models. So first off, this is the box that it comes in, just a standard cardboard box with the classic pale pink Charlotte Tilbury colours as well as the gold typography. I've never really liked Charlotte Tilbury packaging. I know it's supposed to be old school Hollywood, but I just find it old. Then this is the palette itself. As you can see, it's very high quality plastic. It's quite thick and slightly weighty. The design on here is holographic, exactly the same as it was for their smaller Pillow Talk Multi-Glow Beautifying Glow highlighters. It's just that obviously this is larger because there are 4 products inside. So when you open it up, this is what the palette itself looks like. You get 2 powder blushes and then you get 2 powder highlighters as well. Personally, as somebody who's got medium skin tone, I would say that my tan has pretty much faded now. This will work well for fair, medium and deep skin tones, and then the deeper palette will work for medium and deep skin tones. If anything, people with deeper skin can actually get away with using both palettes. So let me just read to you, as I always do, from Charlotte Tilbury's website. So darlings, discover my new Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette featuring 4 beautifying blush and glow shades for your cheeks and face. I'm excited for the world to fall in love with my latest Pillow Talk icon this holiday season, because remember, this is a holiday release. My new Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette is a beautifying blush and glow for all over face, cheek and eye gilding. I have created my world famous Pillow Talk shades in dreamy blush and gorgeous glowing highlighter shades, including my Pillow Talk Multi-Glow loved by the stars around the world apparently. And then it just goes into description about what the shades are, which I will go into as I showcase it on my face. Bear in mind, as you're looking at me right now, don't get confused. I'm using 2 of the different blushes on each cheek and 2 of the different highlighters on each cheek, just so that I could share with you guys what it actually looks like rather than mixing them together. I am going to sort that out in a minute, by the way, because I have to go out in public at some point. Perfectly packed in gorgeous mother of pearl compact that mimics the glow pearl formulas inside. There's the perfect gift for you and beauty lovers everywhere. What makes it magic? It says each shade is infused with a glow booster for skin gilding effect. Pillow Talk is everyone's perfect shade. Blah blah. That's it really. It doesn't really say much else. I'm surprised. Normally it goes into a lot more detail. Not sure how well you can see that, but there is a little design on here that tells you what each one of the products inside are. The first one that actually says Pillow Talk on it is described as a soft blush, and that is in a cool pink matte finish. So as you can see me applying it to my face, it's a very everyday wearable kind of shade for skin tones such as mine and lighter skin tones. However, this will work well as an everyday blush for deeper skin tones as well. You just may have to layer it on a little bit more. Then we go on to the other blush, which is actually called a super blush. And this is a peachy pink matte blush. Now this one is very intense in comparison to the other one. As you can see, it comes out very bright pink on my face. Therefore, you can understand that it would work well for all skin tones. Now on the left side of my face, the highlighter I'm going to be using is called the Super Glow. It's described as a warm glow highlighter. So it's actually like a kind of golden ivory sort of shade, and it blends beautifully and highlights my cheekbones, as you can see. And then we've got the one which is called a Multi-Glow. This one is a rose gold highlighter, and this one again shows up beautifully against my skin tone. And then on the rest of my face, I kind of mixed them both together to do it on my nose, just because I didn't want it either pink or gold. But as you can see, they both show up very, very nicely against my skin tone. One thing I do have to mention is that I noticed initially when I first used it, it was a little bit difficult to get the product to get onto the brush because what I find that a lot of these brands tend to do, especially when there's embossing on there, which there is on every single one of these shades, they've got like a spray overlay. So what you should do is just take your finger, rub your finger a couple of times over each area to remove that initial overlay. Then you'll find that your brush picks up the product a lot better. The brush that I'm using is just some standard blush brush. I don't even know where it's from, Royal and Langnickel. It's just a normal blush brush, and I had to really dig it in to get product to come up. But once I realized that that overlay had gone, I noticed that a lot more product was able to get picked up. This is definitely not a powdery product at all, so this will last you basically forever, depending obviously on how many other blushes you've got at home, but this will last you a really long time. There's no powder kick up at all. The product itself sticks to the brush very, very well with barely any kick up at all. Now the highlighters kick up a tiny bit of powder, but not so much, but that may also be because I used a fan brush, so obviously I'm going like this into the product itself, obviously picking up and kicking up bits of highlighter. But generally speaking, these are packed in very tightly, so there's a lot less wastage than, for example, more powdery kind of highlighters. Now personally, I think that this performs really, really well. So many of you will absolutely love this. This is the kind of palette that I would happily use every single day. You've got a more cool toned pink shade, and then you've got a more kind of brighter sort of pink shade. Then you've got like 2 different colors of highlighters, which is great, so you're not just stuck with one kind of color. You've got a golden shade, and then you've got a more rosy pinky kind of shade as well. It's just down to personal preference, what you're choosing to wear that day, what your look is, etc. Now one thing I do have to mention is that they have written on their website, under the Multi Glow shade, which is the rose gold one, it says it is the same shade as Pillow Talk Multi Glow in Romance Light. So that is something to bear in mind. And I just happen to have both of them with me today. I've done a review of it. I'll put it up here if you guys want to see it in more detail. So Romance Light was this pink one right here, as you can see. So it depends, again, whether or not you want to get this palette for all of the shades, or does it bother you that one of these shades has already been released in the past. And they have said exactly the same thing for the medium and deep palette. They have said the Multi Glow in that palette that I don't have is the same shade as Pillow Talk Multi Glow in Dreamlight from my Pillow Talk collection. And Dreamlight looks like this. If I hold them up together, you can definitely see which one I have used more than the other. This one, the Pillow Talk embossing is completely gone. This one is still here. Why, I hear you ask? Even though I bought both of them and reviewed both of them. The problem is that this one, the one in Dreamlight, is a little bit too deep for my skin tone to use as a highlighter. I tend to use it on my eyes sometimes, but not that often. When I went on holiday and I had a serious tan when I came back, then this shade, Dreamlight, worked beautifully against my skin tone. However, now that my tan is gone, I'm not really using it at all. Was I then going to buy a £60 palette for a shade in there that I know is already too deep for me? No. So that's just something for you guys to bear in mind. If you are around my skin tone and you are maybe considering getting the deeper palette, bear in mind one of those shades is definitely going to be too dark for you to use as a highlighter. The blushes will obviously work fine, because blushes can generally work on most people. You just have to build up the colour really. Personally, I think is absolutely excellent. I love Charlotte Tilbury's highlighters, and I love her blushes as well. These lasted on my face upwards of 12 hours. Super, super happy with the way that they perform. Blends and glides onto the skin with no issues. There was no catching on my face. There was no patchiness. There was no need for me to blend anything out at all. The highlighters themselves are very, very high shine, but they're not glittery at all. Glitter on my face tends to accentuate my textured skin, and I generally tend to stay away from those kind of highlighters. These ones, as you can see, even just me flickering around in the light, definitely have a very high shine metallic sheen to it, which can build up and give you that kind of glass skin sort of look. However, I do not find that it emphasizes my texture to the point where I really I'm looking at myself like, whoa. Obviously it's very different seeing it applied with a brush, but I just wanted to show you thick swatches just so that you could get some sort of understanding. So this one is Soft Blush. This is number 1, the first one in here in the palette, which is the cool kind of pale pinky shade. Then you've got number 2, the Super Glow shade. Number 3 here is the Super Blush shade. And then we've got the Multi Glow shade here as well. So this is just to give you an idea of what a thick swatch looks like. Obviously, like I said, remember it's completely different when you apply it with a brush. I give this palette a 10 out of 10. I think it's absolutely excellent. I'm very, very happy with it. I think that if you were to buy this as a gift for somebody, they would absolutely love it. I mean, the quality of the packaging is very, very high quality. You know, it looks lovely. It looks luxurious. There'll be loads of people out there that would love to receive this over the holiday season, birthdays, that sort of thing. Pillow Talk range is very, very famous when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury. She is known and renowned for that kind of mauvey pinky sort of shade. However, the great thing is obviously she's expanded that shade to kind of go with more deeper skin tones. I was never able to use the original Pillow Talk shade without looking odd. And you can imagine my skin is considered light medium. Whenever I buy foundations, that's generally the category I tend to sit in. And if I found the original Pillow Talk lipstick shade too light, you can imagine how many other people were missed off. She has really worked hard on expanding that line so that it caters more towards so many more skin tones. If anything, all skin tones that are out there, which is how it should be. It's the 21st century now, you know. So that's it for my review of the brand new Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all soon.